Hello and welcome to the Failings Report. My name is Aaron Poland. I'm the president, owner, and CEO of Spartan Claims LLC. Today we have episode number 5 of the Failings Report. This is after the inspection has taken place. The last report we talked about what to expect during the inspection. Today we're going to talk about what to expect after the inspection. Going to jump right in. This video is going to be a lot shorter than some of the other ones, and I'm going to try to cut them down a little bit further as we go. So we'll jump right in. So we're going to talk about what to expect. The couple of things you need to know going into after the inspection has taken place. The adjuster is off the property. They're either in their vehicle or they've departed the site completely. Going to give you a little insight on some time frames. A lot of the adjusters will sit in the driveway, sit out in the street, go around the corner to the gas station or a grocery store parking lot, Walmart, whatever. They will write up an estimate, maybe come back to your house to go over it with you and everything else. Other times they like to take their inspection results back to the office, write it up there in the air-conditioned room if it's hot in the summertime, or heated if it's cold in the wintertime, put the estimate together, put all the paperwork together. If they have the authority, they'll write the check and mail it out to you. They generally call you after they're done with their estimate and let you know kind of what's going on with that paperwork. Or they'll need to take it in, write it up, have a manager or a trainer or a team leader or whoever go in there and give them the authority to go forth and issue payment. And then the other type is if you have an independent adjuster coming out to the property, a lot of times the adjusters will come out, they'll do an inspection, the independent adjusters will write up an estimate, and they will have to at that point submit their paperwork to what we refer to as a desk adjuster for review. They'll make changes to it, and then they will decide to send out the payment. That's not a very efficient way of handling claims, if you ask me, because you're getting one story from the guy that's out at the property and somebody else sitting behind a desk in possibly even another state making the determination on what they're going to apply coverage to. But you have to understand that's an option. If once the paperwork's done, moving forward, you got your paperwork in your hand, you're sitting there, you're going over it with your contractor and your public adjuster. We're going to talk about what you can expect out of the paperwork itself. Most of the insurance companies, and I have one sitting around here just on my desk, they use a estimatic software called Xactimate. It's kind of considered to be the industry standard for writing estimates that the insurance companies like using it. A lot of contractors use it. Public adjusters, we like using it. It's a fairly complicated program. It takes a lot of time to master it. A lot of the adjusters that are out writing estimates and running claims for the insurance companies, they're not very proficient at it, or they think they are, but they're really not. A lot of contractors like to think they're good at it too, and they end up being pretty horrible at it. But you know, if you know what you're doing, it can actually be a pretty efficient tool in an insurance claim to negotiate with the insurance company. So you got this Xactimate sitting in front of you. Unless you're dealing with one of the 1% of the insurance companies that uses another program called Stability. That's a whole different program. It's pretty horrible. There's only a couple insurance companies that use it, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one. But you got your estimate sitting in front of you. You're holding it up, and you're going through, and you're trying to figure out what we're looking at. Best case scenario, you're getting a full approval. They've approved the scope of damages. All of the components in that scope are accurate and correct. It's what we consider to be kind of all-inclusive or a total package. And all the pricing is accurate and up to date. The price list in Xactimate is updated monthly by your zip code. They do a fairly decent job keeping those prices up to date, with very few exceptions. Copper windows, doors, those kind of get wonky sometimes. Paint's pretty bad. But roof, siding, gutters, drywall, carpet, flooring, whatever, cabinets, they usually do a fairly good job on those too. Those prices are all going to be pretty squared away. But everything's great. It's golden. The clouds have parted. The heavens are shining, and unicorns are crapping sprinkles on your head because everything is good in your insurance claim. You don't have to worry about fighting them. You don't have to worry about negotiating. You're ready to get into the building process of your claim. The next tier down from there, from just nirvana in a claim, is a partial approval or a partial denial. Got to figure out, okay, what did they cover? What did they not cover? If they didn't cover something, why did they deny it? If they did cover it, They say they pay for everything, but you're missing a lot of components in this. Maybe it's just a supplement. You have to put together a real estimate, send it into the insurance company, explain to them what they've missed, haggle that out with the adjuster about including the items that were omitted. Or maybe it's just a full-blown, they paid for half of a roof, or they paid for 2 elevations of siding, or they paid for 200 feet out of 500 feet of gutters on your house. Insurance companies do a lot of weird stuff that most people don't understand. So it's important to really understand what you're looking at when you're seeing these estimates. The estimates, they read a lot like stereo instructions. And I'm sorry, I keep trying to dig around here. See if I can find one, I can maybe show it up. But they read very complicated. I usually tell people, unless you know what you're looking at, you might as well flip it upside down and try to read it, because it looks like Chinese algebra. So understand if it's a full or a partial approval or a partial denial, or you could end up with the worst case out of all of it, and that's a full denial. If it's a full denial, we need to understand, why was it denied? Was it improper coverage in a policy? Was it the wrong type of policy? Do you have just a really crappy adjuster that is deliberately walking past damage, or what we call walking past damage, where they kind of, oh, I don't see it. I don't, half the roof's gone, but I'm not paying attention. That's a thing, people. I'm sorry, but that's actually a thing that happens. Were they misapplying exclusions that should maybe be included in the coverage? A lot of times we go up to a roof, it's missing a whole lot of shingles, and the adjuster immediately goes, oh, it was installed improperly. The wind blew it off. Get out of here. These are things that can be dealt with in later processes that we'll get into later down the line in the series here. We also need to know, if you have the right policy, is it a crappy policy? A lot of insurance companies write really bad insurance policies. We will be talking about policy a little bit later in a couple other episodes down the road. But you got to understand, a lot of these policies, they'll have an exclusion for cosmetic damages. If you've got metal gutters, or you got metal windows, or something along that line, and it's got little dings in them, or the vents on your roof are pelted up from hail, there are policies that will exclude that. They'll say, well, it's not functionally damaged, it's cosmetic damage. That's crap. Don't buy one of those policies. They're horrible. Make sure you're asking your agent, is this a full replacement cost policy, or does it have cosmetic exclusions? And then we also need to determine if it's an actual cash value policy or a replacement cost value. I am not going to spend the next 20 minutes talking about the difference in those. That's going to be tomorrow's episode. We're going to talk about RCV and ACV. But these are things that you need to understand going into it when you're trying to figure out if you're getting covered. More importantly than anything else, if you're being denied coverage for any reason on your claim, listen to me. Listen to me. Make sure you are getting it in writing from your insurance company. They legally have to send you a letter that explains why they're not applying coverage to your claim. Be it any of the reasons I just talked about. It's not covered. It's excluded in an exclusion or an endorsement somewhere. You have to have it in writing from the insurance company. If they fail to present you with a letter in writing explaining why they're not applying coverage, you got issues, and you need to get a hold of a public adjuster, a policy specialist somewhere, and have them kind of get in there and negotiate that. Because if they're not going to come right out and give you a letter that explains why they're not applying coverage, that means they're probably hiding something. And it has to be based on the policy, not some BS operating guideline that a lot of them like to cite. They like to come out and say, well, it's our internal company policy, we don't pay for that. Well, nobody cares about that. The homeowners, you guys, the policyholders, you guys are signing policies, not internal operating guidelines. Make sure they're citing policy language in a denial if you get it. Because if you call a guy like me, that's one of the questions we're going to ask. Let me see your denial letter. They didn't send you one? Oh, we're about to have some fun. So make sure you get it. Bring it over. We'll take care of it. That's all I got for right now. Tomorrow, like I said, we're going to jump into the difference between an actual cash value and a replacement cost value policy, and then the evil D word, or depreciation, that some of us in the industry are very familiar with. So again, Aaron Poland, President, CEO, founder of Spartan Claims. Don't forget to check out our website. Don't forget to check out our videos on Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to us, new channel. All these videos are going to end up on YouTube anyway. So for now, interwebs, we'll see you tomorrow.